Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Just Love Them podcast. I'm your host, Cherie Best. Join me to discover how to stay connected, how to find healing, and how to deepen your relationships with the people you care about who have made different religious choices than you have. Thank you for rating and reviewing and subscribing to this podcast. Recently, I taught at a stake women's conference. The title they gave me was How to Love and Be a Light When Loved Ones Leave. The scriptures talk about loving others a lot. For example, in 1 John 4:7, it says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God." In Mosiah 23:15, it says, "Thus did Alma teach his people that every man should love his neighbor as himself, that there should be no contention among them." And in Doctrine and Covenants 88, verse 123, it says, "See that ye love one another." The scriptures also talk about being a light. For example, in Ephesians 5:8, it says, "Walk as children of light." Matthew 5:16, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." And in 3 Nephi 12, Christ repeats, "I give unto you to be the light of this people." As I thought about this title and this topic, how to love and be a light, I thought about my own experience. It wasn't always easy to feel love for my children when they chose to leave the religion that I loved and raised them in. More often, I felt sad, devastated even, desperate, and sometimes angry. You may remember that of the 7 children I raised, 6 of them left the church. Not all at once, thank goodness. But each time another child left, I would go through those same painful feelings all over again. Sometimes I was still working through those feelings from the child before. First the shock, then the sadness, devastation, feeling desperate and even angry. I certainly wasn't feeling loving toward them. I certainly didn't feel like I was a light. If anything, I felt like I had been shining a light for them and loving them their whole lives, and now I was just feeling rejected. So how do you love and be a light when loved ones leave, especially when hard feelings are getting in the way? Today, I'm sharing with you some things that helped me get out of feeling rejected, angry, desperate, devastated, and sad, and allowed me to feel love for my children, which then allowed me to be a light to them. Because when we have those hard feelings for others, even if we don't voice them, they know, they can tell, they can feel it. And does it affect the relationship? You bet it does. And even when we have different opinions, we still want to have a good relationship with the other person, don't we? We still love them. It's just that there's all this stuff getting in the way and it's hard to feel it. And it can definitely be hard to show it when we're around them. Those hard feelings come out in our tone of voice, in our words, and in our body language, all of which damage the relationship. And if they're having the same hard feelings showing up in their tone, their words, and body language, well, that's when some serious damage can happen. You can't change the other person, but you can change you, which will ripple out to the other person. But how do you do that? Today, I'm sharing with you 3 ways to get past those hard feelings so that you can feel and show love and be a light to them. Number 1, forgive. Forgive them. Forgive them for not embracing the gospel you love. Forgive them for not seeing what you see. Forgive them for choosing a different path. Forgive them for not following in your footsteps. Forgive them for rejecting what is precious to you. Forgive them for not taking the path you feel is best for them. Forgive them for using their agency to make different choices than the ones that you would make for them. Forgive them for not being the person you expected them to be. Forgive them for thinking differently than you. Forgive them for doing things differently than you. Forgive them for not believing what you believe. Forgive them for rejecting you. Forgive them for their part in the contention. Forgive them for whatever they've done and said that is hurting your heart. Forgive them. And then forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not knowing. Forgive yourself for believing you had control. Forgive yourself for your mistakes, for not being perfect, for feeling foolish. Forgive yourself for the things you've said. Forgive yourself for the things you've felt. Forgive yourself for the things you've done. Forgive yourself. You gave it your all, and that counts. Patrick Kieran said, "The intent of the Father's great plan of happiness is your happiness, right here, right now, and in the eternities. It's not to prevent your happiness and cause you to worry and fear. God's intent is for you to feel happy right now and not to worry and fear. Forgiveness is a key step in feeling happy right here and right now. What and who do you need to forgive?" I know I've invited you to do a lot of journaling and writing lately, but may I suggest that it may be helpful to write this question at the top of a piece of paper? Who do I need to forgive? What do I need to forgive? Write that at the top of a piece of paper, then poise your pen on the paper and see what comes. What and who do you need to forgive? You may be surprised. It may help you to take a needed step. I invite you to try step 1. Step 2, let go. Step 1 is forgive. Step 2 is let go. A while back, I did a podcast episode based on the book The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Have you read it? The premise of the book is about letting go of what you can't control anyway and are damaging your relationships trying to do. Now, I'm not talking about trying to control underage children who live in your home and for whom you're responsible. That's a completely separate topic than we're going to address today. I'm talking about trying to control other adults, your children who are adults, your siblings, your spouse, your friend, your other relatives, etc. People who you try to influence out of love, but who you try to influence out of fear as well. You try to tell them what they should and shouldn't do. You try to persuade, entice, reason with, educate, compel, coerce, influence, and possibly even try to manipulate, threaten, and scare them into doing what you think is right, believing what you believe. Am I right? You may think that this is your duty to do this. You're doing it because you love them. You're trying to be a light to them. But it isn't working, is it? Either they placate you, telling you what you want to hear while secretly doing what they want behind your back, or they've openly rebelled, or they've started avoiding you, or something else. Which one is it? Because while you're thinking that what you are doing will fix the problem, in reality, it's just making it worse. I hate to be so blunt with you, but it's true. What you are doing that you think is going to draw them back to your way of thinking is, in actuality, pushing them away. Their behavior is telling you that they feel judged, unaccepted, and controlled. We are trying to control what we can't, and it's driving them away. Ironic, isn't it? You're trying to draw them closer, but it's having the opposite effect. It's driving them away. I'm being very blunt about this, but if you will stay with me and hear me out, you can change that. Like I said, we're acting out of love, but we're also acting out of fear. Fear that they will make mistakes. Fear that they'll ruin their lives. Fear that they'll ruin our lives. Fear that they will ruin the family. Fear that they will create unnecessary pain. Fear that they will embarrass us and themselves. Fear that they will waste their lives. Fear that they will waste our lives. Fear that they will be eternally lost. And the list goes on. I want to teach you 2 little words to say next time you are tempted to control what you can't. It's the words, let them. When you say let them, you're letting go of what you can't control. You're giving their decisions and their consequences back to them. You're letting go of trying to control. You're letting go of trying to control what you can't. You're not playing tug of war anymore. You're dropping the rope. Let them. It feels so freeing to say that. It feels so good. You can take a deep breath and let go of the responsibility. God's in charge of them now. So when your boy gets in trouble with the law and has to experience the consequences, don't berate him or say, I told you so, or try to bail him out. Be grateful that he gets to learn from his mistakes and say, let them. When your adult child goes out drinking, say to yourself, let them. You can't stop them anyway. Let them live their lives and learn. They can only learn by doing, just like a toddler learning to walk. When your child stops going to church, it's hard to, but let them. When they want to spend their time with friends instead of you, let them. When they start drinking with their roommates, let them. When they move in with their girlfriend, let them. When they dress differently than you taught them, let them. When they fall off the pedestal you put them on, let them. When they step away from the family, let them. When they want to say their opinion, which is different from yours, let them. When you're tempted to control that person you care about, instead, say to yourself, let them. One of my 20-something-year-old daughters started dating a guy who was 17 years older than her. When I found this out, my mama heart wanted to go straight to her and try and talk her out of it. I could think of a myriad of reasons why she shouldn't be dating someone almost old enough to be her father. But luckily, I was able to think before I acted. Did I really think talking to her, trying to reason her out of dating this guy was really going to work? I know my daughter. It was not going to work, but it could push her away from me. So instead, I said to myself, let them. Let her date someone too old for her. Let her have her experiences. Let her learn for herself. Let her make her own mistakes. Let her figure it out. And when I said that to myself, I felt better. I couldn't control her choices anyway. Now, if she had come to me for advice, asked me what I thought, I would have gladly told her. And if I had felt prompted to say something, I would have. But neither of those things happened. And my knee-jerk reaction to have a talk with her was me acting out of love, but really also acting out of fear. So if your interference isn't going to stop them, and it isn't going to help your relationship, and they are not in any actual physical danger, let them. As it turned out, our daughter desperately wanted us to accept this man. She brought him to the house for dinner so we could get to know him. Our acceptance of their relationship went a long way in helping our daughter feel loved by us. In the end, they dated for a few months, and then she realized it wasn't the relationship she wanted, and she moved on. Relationship with me intact. Let me be clear. I'm not saying you need to agree with your loved one's choices. I'm not saying you need to give up your values or your beliefs in any way, shape, or form. What I am saying is that when another adult you care about is making choices you don't agree with or that go against your beliefs and you're trying to change them is going to damage the relationship, because you're trying to change them is going to damage the relationship. Let go of trying to control and change. You're not responsible for their lives at this point. They are. And if they are not asking for your opinion and your help, just let them and love them anyway. Letting go and trusting God is very freeing, and it will help your relationship. You may be holding on too tight. Let them. But that's not all. There's something else you can say to yourself that will also help, and that's let me. In those situations that you are tempted to control, say let them, but then say let me. What can I do? What do I have control over? Let me be happy to see them whenever we're together. Let me say I love you. Let me be just as kind when they don't go to church as when they do. Let me pray for them when they are doing something that seems dangerous to me. Let me welcome their friends and partners, whoever they bring into my home. Let me ignore the way they dress and look for the good. Let me accept them for who they are. Let me let them go. Let me pray for them. Let me listen to understand instead of to argue. Let me put their name in the temple. Let me pray and ask God what they need from me. Let me follow through on promptings about them. Let me just love them for who they are and where they are. Let me. Let them. Let me. And then there's let God. God is the one who sees the whole picture, who knows what is in each person's heart, who knows why we do the things we do, make the choices we make, and say the things we say. He knows our innermost thoughts, feelings, and fears. He understands each of us better than we understand ourselves, and He has a plan. Can we let God? Can you trust that He loves your people even more than you do? Can you realize that He is not leaving them alone? That He is in relentless pursuit of them? Can you let God guide you in knowing what you can do? Ask God. Trust God. Letting God does not mean you're going to get the outcome you envision. It means you're trusting God that He is helping them learn the lessons that He brought them to earth to learn. And maybe you get to help in His plan. Ask Him how. Do you trust Him? Then let Him. Forgive and let go. Let them, let me, and let God. Kristen M. Yee said, "Our Heavenly Father and Savior see you. They know your heart. They care about what you care about, including those you love. The Savior can redeem that which was lost, including broken and fractured relationships. He has made a way for all that is fallen to be redeemed, to breathe life into that which feels dead and hopeless. Listen for and heed the promptings He sends you. He will not abandon His covenant relationship with you." Unquote. Step 3. Look for the good. Now that you're working on forgiving and letting go, let me add one more thing that will really shift your brain into loving your hard to love at the moment person. And that is to look for the good. When our oldest daughter moved out under less than ideal conditions shortly after turning 18, the relationship was quite rocky. I was at the very beginning of this journey and unintentionally spent more time ruining my relationship with her than nurturing it. I was anxious for our relationship to improve and for our hearts to heal. One day while I was praying about her and what to do, the thought came, look for the good. As I pondered this phrase, I decided I was going to look for only what was good about her and ignore everything else. I realized that I'd been taking great notice of everything I thought she was doing wrong, all the ways that she wasn't living the way we had taught her, all the ways that she was rebelling. I was so focused on that. That was all I could see. I'm ashamed to say I couldn't see any good. The next time she called and said she was coming over, I geared up. Okay, I said to myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to look for what's good about her, and I'm going to ignore everything else. When she walked through the door, my mind immediately went to what she was wearing. She was dressed in a crop top and short shorts. In the past, I had been hyper-fixed on modesty, and this was her obvious display of independence from having to dress as I wanted her to. I pulled my mind back and reminded myself that I was only looking for what was good. Instead, I looked into her face. What was good about this child? What did I like about her? Instantly, I noticed her eyes. She has some of the most beautiful blue eyes I have ever seen. She has a beautiful face, a beautiful smile, and she was smiling. She was beautiful. Next, I noticed how she interacted with her sisters. They were so happy to see her, and she was happy to see them. She hugged them and listened to them and paid great attention. What an awesome older sister she was. Then I thought about how good it was that she was here. She had left home under less than friendly circumstances, and she could have just stayed away, but she didn't. She wanted to come home. She wanted to be with us. Well, maybe her siblings more than me at this point, but she cared about family. That was good. Once I got started looking for the good in this daughter, it was soon all I could see. She was an amazing girl. How had I not seen that before? I had gotten so caught up in what she wasn't doing that I thought she should be doing, that all I could see was the negative. Once I started looking for the good, that was all I could see. You see what you're looking for. Your brain can collect evidence either way. I have a friend whose husband has left the church. It could have ruined their relationship. Such things often do. But this smart friend decided that instead of focusing on what her husband was doing that she didn't like, she was going to focus on what she loved about him. She even started a notebook where she would write down the things that she liked about them and then leave it on his pillow for him to read. It was a process of adjustment, to be sure. But today, even though she wishes he was invested in church, she sees so much good in her husband. They have a great relationship and are very happy together. That could not have happened if she had not shifted into looking for the good in their relationship. There really is so much good in your loved one who's left the church you love. Look for it. See it. It will help you love them. You'll feel better. They will feel better. I hope what I've shared today has helped you. I hope it's given you something to think about, given you an idea of a small adjustment you may want to make in the way you're doing things, or in the way you see things. I hope you'll pick just one thing to adjust in your relationship with that person that you love. I think you'll be happy with how you feel inside and the ripple effect it will have. As I was preparing to speak at that women's conference, the night before the conference, I was going over my notes, just reviewing, and suddenly I had the strongest feeling that there were people who needed to be able to talk about what they were going through, who needed to be listened to, heard, and supported in having their loved ones leave the church. As I pondered this thought, another thought came strongly to my mind: to start a support group. I'm giving you a heads up right now that I will be starting a support group. Have I ever done this before? Nope. Am I a trained life coach? Yes. Will God help me figure out how to run a support group for people whose loved ones have left the church? Absolutely, He will. I also had no idea how to do a podcast when that inspiration came, but here we are. I'd love your help. Please be thinking about who could use this type of support. It could be you, it could be a friend or another family member or someone else. I don't have any details yet, except that I know I'm going to do it online, likely over Zoom. I'll keep you posted as God helps me figure it out. In the meantime, please be thinking. And if it's not too much to ask, please be praying for me. And especially, please join me again next time for another episode of Just Love Them.